A passionate debate among baseball fans once again took center stage earlier this week, the unwritten rules of the game. In case you missed it, on Monday, White Sox DH Yermin Mercedez blasted a moonshot of a home run on a 3-0 count against Twins first baseman Williams Astudillo in the 9th inning of a game they were up by 11. Afterwards, his own manager, Tony La Russa, took exception to that because he disobeyed a take sign. If you want to debate following or disregarding what the third base coach tells you to do, or even the manager, that's a separate conversation. But the bigger issue here is why the skipper told Mercedes to take a pitch that just so happened to be a 47-mile-an-hour meatball. The answer? The unwritten rule of supposedly respecting your opponent. Let's make no mistake, this is outdated. Athletes get paid millions, sometimes tens of millions of dollars to give a maximum effort. They don't get paid to take their feet off the gas, especially in a case like Mercedes's, because he had been in the minors for 10 years and hits arbitration, so he'll be paid according to what he does this year. So these at-bats matter. You might say, what will one at-bat do? Well, could disrupt his mojo and take him the slightest bit out of a rhythm he's in, and in this sport, that can be all that's needed to derail someone with a hot bat. And it's also not a team's job to lay down or hit the brakes because their opponents have laid an egg or are seemingly out of it. And that's another thing. In a sport as unpredictable as baseball, where there's no game clock, who's to say most leads are entirely safe? After all, history's chock full of classic comebacks you would have thought were never possible. And these ways that La Russa is attached to were once unquestioned. Now they're basically argued as fiercely as politics are, just as it was with Fernando Tatis Jr. doing something similar last season, because there's a new wave of players, and just as importantly, fans, who want something different than what we used to see. They want those extravagant plays and at-bats you wouldn't normally witness. They want those long homers into the night off someone who doesn't normally pitch, and when he does, let's face it, throws something straight out of Little League. Case in point, the players around the league, and even Mercedes' teammates, guys who play for La Russa, rush to his defense. There's a new generation of guys who play the game wearing their personality on their sleeves and wanting to put on a show. Not only win a game. Now, what's important for the old school fan to recognize is that if MLB is to have any success at growing and sustaining the game, they have to embrace that change, not try to prevent it, not try to delay it.